Welcome everyone to today's webinar. My name is Matt Baer. I'm the founder of Q4Launch, and we are excited you guys are along for the ride with us as we dive into the one-page marketing plan that will help you increase your revenue in 2019. It's such an exciting time of year with the turn of a new year and new opportunities and just a renewed vision for many of us as we tackle our marketing challenges and look at our business and we set big goals and dream big dreams. And it's a time of the year that I'm excited to connect with you guys and kind of talk through a one-page plan to help you grow your revenue in 2019. If this is your first time with us, welcome. We're glad that you are here. This is a roughly bi-weekly, monthly webinar series that we lead Q4Launch to try to help our customers as well as those in the marketplace that we get the opportunity to work to kind of learn and hear what we're thinking about and grow and develop and change alongside with this. So what we're going to teach today is strategies we use with our customers. I'm going to teach you kind of the high level of what we do, how we do those things, and get your creative juices flowing here at the beginning of the year and thinking about your marketing strategy for this year and how this could be the best year your business has ever had. If you aren't already following us, we'd love for you to follow us on social media. Facebook.com/Q4Launch is where we're most active, but lots of different ways you can connect with us. So glad that you guys are here. With that, let's kind of dive into our topic today. So there is an actual one-page plan. It's an Excel spreadsheet that goes with today's presentation. If you'd like a copy of that, you can go to Q4Launch.com/one-page, and there will be a form there. You can fill that out. The form will likely auto-populate for you since you've already filled out a webinar registration form. We have your information, and it should auto-populate there. But if not, just fill that quick form in and you'll get a copy of the one-page marketing plan. If you're listening to a recording of this, which we are going to be changing up some of how we do recordings in 2019, so there'll be more information coming from us on that. But if you're watching a recording of this, that page may still be up for you, or we may have taken it down by the time you listen to this, because this is a limited resource available for a limited period of time. So you could definitely check that page out as well, see if that form's still there. But it will help you essentially create your marketing plan. There are little check boxes on that form. You can print that. You can keep it as a digital asset. There are formulas built into that spreadsheet as well. So you can really manipulate that and make that plan your own. But we'll give you a guideline, a template, a formula, if you will, towards success in marketing in 2019. If you check every one of those boxes on that form or on the marketing plan, I guarantee you that you will see increased revenue in 2019. If you do marketing consistently, you will drive greater success in 2019. It's just a fact. We've seen it with our customers consistently as we work to grow their revenue, and it's just one of those things. But the hardest part about marketing is consistency, and that's what this one plan is really designed to help you do. Focus your time and your energy around the things that should be your highest priorities from a marketing perspective, and then help you understand at a high level what frequency you need to do that. So in this screen out here, you can see just a little bit of the individual column, and you'll see lots of columns across there. There's 52 columns across there because each column represents a week of the year. It helps you identify based on that week what marketing activities should you be thinking about, should you be doing in that week. And as you go through that, you'll check each of those little boxes in those columns off for that week to complete your marketing plan for that week. So it really is a great resource to try to help you move yourself forward in your marketing in 2019 and create some accountability for yourself. You know, whether that's with an employee on your team, maybe with another business owner, maybe you could both follow the one-page marketing plan in 2019. Or maybe you get to a place where you're like, you know, this is great, it's great information, but I don't want to do this myself. And we'd be happy to do it on your behalf as well. I know many of our customers are on today's webinar as well, just to kind of continue their learning. And they've gotten to that point where they're like, I don't want to do this. And they just hire us to take care of those things for them, which is a great place to be. And lets you focus on other things in your business and get things done more effectively by a team of people that are experts at those things. So both of those options are available for you, but encourage you to use it, right? I mean, that's the big thing. Use it. If you don't do anything with what you learned today, nothing will change. And we'll talk more about that too. So let's start diving into our content together. And as we do that, let's take a quick look back at 2018 with a couple of key points of news that I think came out in 2018. One, Airbnb has more than 4 million listings and experiences listed on their site. They actually crossed the 4 million listing threshold in 2017, but wasn't able to find any updated information on exactly how many listings they had, so wasn't willing to put another number on that. But we know it's probably significantly higher than 4 million at this point. It's probably significantly higher than 5 million at this point. But they are the largest accommodations website in the world at this point. Massive accommodations website, massive number of properties that can be booked. And it's a huge competitive change for many of us. They've also moved into experiences in a big way, and they're disrupting the travel and tourism, or travel and tour part of that market in a big way, and bringing that together onto one platform in ways that other people haven't necessarily been super successful in doing that. One of the constants we always see is that Google continues to drive change in their algorithm. 2018 was a big year of Google change, and we believe 2019 will probably be an even bigger year of Google change. And we're so much so that we're going to teach a webinar in 2 weeks just about what you need to do to succeed in search engine optimization or to succeed from a Google organic perspective in 2019. But lots of change happened. We're going to review those changes in detail on that webinar in 2 weeks, so definitely register for that if you haven't already. And we're also going to talk about what you need to be thinking about to be successful in 2018. And this is so important. You cannot turn a blind eye to Google, to kind of drive this home for you. And I was talking to somebody just yesterday about this. But our customers see about 50% of their direct bookings coming from a Google organic search. So 50% of their direct booking revenue generates originates as a Google organic search. That's a huge statistic, because what that means is that the other 50% of their direct revenue comes from all the other channels. Comes from email, social, direct traffic, referral traffic. All the other channels together equal 50%, and Google organic equals 50%. So when you're thinking about how important this is, think about how important half your revenue is. And you need to be paying attention and investing into the place that half of your revenue comes from. It's a really big deal. More local competitors are starting in a booming travel economy. So while there is more people spending more money on travel probably than ever before, we have more competition in the travel industry than we've ever had before. And the great economy is driving more people to become entrepreneurs than have ever been them before. So lots of good things happening, but it also creates more competition and pressure on all of us. Institutional investors are buying companies and consolidating many industries. That's a trend we've seen over the last years as travel is booming. It has gotten the attention of many institutional and non-institutional investors, and a lot of roll-ups, acquisitions, and consolidation is happening across the industry. Prices are increasing for AdWords, which has been rebranded in 2018 to Google Ads. We've talked, I think I taught a webinar a few months ago just about Google Ads. Hopefully you tuned into that. But prices are increasing for Google Ads in 2019, as they did in 2018, as that medium gets more competitive and there's less clicks available because Google's funneling clicks in other places. And then the OTAs continue to increase fees and work to own the guest relationship. And that's a battle many of us are facing in our marketplaces as we're working to maintain market share and fight the OTAs, which are working so hard to create dominance. But I will tell you, and I think this is a misconception I hear probably more than many other misconceptions these days, is I can't compete with the OTAs, so I shouldn't even try. And in reality, it's not that, or I can't beat the OTAs I just had somebody tell me that yesterday. I can't beat the OTAs at Google Ads, so why should I even try? And that's totally the wrong mindset to think about that in. Yes, you can't outspend Airbnb or HomeAway or Expedia or anybody else from a budget perspective. It's just not possible, of course. It's not even possible probably in your market, but the person who wins isn't the person who spends the most. It's not even necessarily the person who gets the most bookings. Every booking is a booking that you're fighting for. So if you spend $500 a month, $5,000 a month, $50,000 a month on Google Ads, regardless of what your budget is, if that $500 a month or $5,000 a month is performing well for you, that's victory. That's victory. You don't have to spend $500,000 on Google Ads every single month like Airbnb might, and they spend more than that. But you don't have to spend that much to be successful. If you spend X and you generate a 10X return on investment, no matter what marketing channel it's in, that's successful. Doesn't mean that Airbnb can't get their market share. It just means that with your marketing budget, your spend, your property, you're being successful. And that's what you need to be thinking about. Not whether or not you can beat somebody else, but whether or not you're being successful in your marketing, and measuring and defining that first and then measuring that second. But as a takeaway from all of this, your marketplace is likely more competitive than it's ever been. No matter what segment of the industry you're in, no matter if you're a bed and breakfast, a boutique hotel, a resort, a vacation rental manager, your marketplace is very likely more competitive than it's ever been. And you have to think about things differently than you've ever had to. So as we think about that, and as I'd like to teach in person, and I teach at a lot of conferences, I'm not gonna, you guys can raise your hands in the chat panels, or you can comment along in the chat panel as well. Love to see those comments in the chat panel as we move throughout our time together today. But how many of us have made how many of us want our 2019 to be better than our 2018? If you do, say yeah in the chat panel. Would love to get everybody interacting with us and hearing everybody's yes, I want 2018 to be better than 2019. Love that. See that. Appreciate it. Some good comments in there. How many of us have made a major change in our marketing strategy in 2018? Love to see that. Tell me what it is. Comment on that in the chat panel. What major change did you make in your marketing strategy in 2018? Love to see some of those things. Started doing pay-per-click for the first time. Good for you. Hopefully that's going well. Committed to sending more emails after listening to your webinars. Awesome. Glad to hear that as well. But comment on those major changes you've made. That's the only two comments that I'm seeing related to that. So that's became a Q4Launch client. I'm glad that you're along with us as well. That's a great change to make in 2018. So congrats on that. I'm glad to have you in the family. But how many of us are going to make a major change in 2019? So maybe that's something that you're looking at. You've got a major change planned for 2019. You're going to start pay-per-click for the first time, like somebody on today's webinar. You're going to commit to sending regular email blasts out, like somebody on today's webinar. You're not going to let busy season stop you from doing a great job marketing. Maybe you're going to become a client, like somebody on today's webinar as well, and work with us here at Q4Launch. We'd love to welcome you into the family and work together on your behalf. But as you think about that, we all want our business to be in a better place in 2019 than it was in 2018. Yet very few of us are making significant changes in our business. And it's, whether Albert Einstein actually said this or not is debatable, but doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is Albert Einstein's, or at least he's attributed with that definition of insanity. And how many of us fall into that? I mean, I know I'm guilty of this sometimes. Many of you who followed our webinars know I'm an athlete and a big runner, and I'll run the same workouts time after time after time, race after race after race. I'll do the same workouts. But I know deep down, if I want to break through and I want to run faster, I have to do something different. I have to push myself harder than I've ever pushed before. I have to be willing to risk things I haven't risked before. I have to be willing to make changes in my strategy. Yet so few of us, most of us kind of come in and we have big dreams at the beginning of the year, but we don't take the necessary actions to be able to make measurable change. And I don't want that for you this year. I want this year to be the year that you say, no, I am going to make measurable change. I am going to make an impact. I'm going to risk things that I haven't risked before. I'm going to take a chance on some things that maybe intimidate me a little bit. And maybe that's in your business. Maybe that's a marketing challenge that you're going to take on. Maybe that's a marketing investment that you're going to make in 2019. Maybe that's finally launching that new website that you know you need to launch, but you've been putting it off. This year can be the year that you do those things. This quarter can be the best quarter to do those things. This quarter is absolutely the best quarter to be making those changes, regardless of how busy you are in your business. This quarter is the best time to make those investments because you have all year for that investment to create a return on investment. The longer you wait, the longer your return on investment will be out for those things. So there's no time like the present to make some of those changes. And as you're thinking about that, you need to benchmark your results. You really need to understand, where were you in 2018 and where are you trying to go in 2019? So did you meet your bookings goal for 2018 or your revenue goal? Was your website traffic up 25% versus a year ago? That's kind of a benchmark we set for ourselves working with our customers. Was your organic search traffic up 20% versus a year ago? What was your Google Ads return on ad spend? I'll tell you, we see a lot of people spend a lot of money on Google Ads, and the majority of them waste the majority of their budget. Most people have a very poor return on ad spend from Google Ads, and they don't even know because they're not in the data on a regular basis. But set a goal and go after that. Is 8% of your email database visiting your website each month? Is your blog page delivering 30% of your overall traffic? Is your following on social media growing by 5 to 10% per month? Do you have at least 50 reviews on 4 or more on each of the 4 major review platforms? These are some high-level benchmarks, some measures of success we use at Q4Launch to say, is this on the track we want it to be on? And you may not say yes to all these things, or you may, and that's awesome. I'd say most of our customers are probably saying yes to all of these things, which is a great place for you to be. And if you're not saying yes to all these things, change can happen. Change can lead you to yeses on these things, and having a strategy to be able to get there. So many great opportunities to go after, but you've got to have a plan to go after those things and then know what success looks like. So let's set some goals for 2019 together. Just real quick, you're going to have to spend more time on this later. There's really not enough time to stop and do this in a webinar. But don't just tell me you want to increase your bookings. How much? Like a percentage, a dollar amount? Let's set a goal, a real, tangible, numerical goal, a SMART goal. You've probably heard that before, but a SMART goal. This year may be the year you look to reduce your dependency on third-party bookings or online travel agents. So let's set a goal for that. That's awesome. You know, we just been this time of year, we get lots of emails from customers about how much they've reduced their dependency on third-party bookings. Got an email from a customer just a couple days ago. Started with them about 2 years ago. They were getting 100% of their bookings from third parties. And they emailed me just at the end of the year, analyzed their data, and they're down to 30%. So in 2 years, they've gone from 100% of their bookings from OTAs and third parties to only 30% of their bookings coming from OTAs. At the same time, they've grown their revenue. In their total revenue, they've also grown their properties, so the inventory that they have available. So tremendous success story. And love working with them and love the charge they had at the end of that email. Let's keep pushing forward to make this even less dependent in 2019. That's exciting stuff. Those are things we like to work towards. You may want to reallocate a portion of your AdWords or your Google Ads budget as well, but how much and where are you going to reallocate it? And what's your return on ad spend or your return on investment going to be from those things? You really need to set some tangible goals and go after those things. Maybe you're going to start blogging this year. How much traffic is your blog going to get for you? And when I say traffic, I know it's easy to kind of write that off as just a number, but traffic to your blog, assuming you're blogging about the right things, is the number of travelers that are discovering you. How many people that are planning a trip to your destination are discovering your brand by your blogging? That's the real question. Not how much traffic do you have. How much traffic do you have is the techie, geeky analytics way of saying that. But the industry-specific language to say the exact same thing is how many travelers are discovering your brand by the blog content you're creating. And that's a great question to ask yourself. And unfortunately, as we look at analytics for people, there's usually not a ton of, most people aren't getting much traffic from their blog. And a question in the chat panel, what are the 4 major review platforms? Great question, and it'll be a little bit different, right? So I'll give you my opinion on that. Google would be, would probably be the one we're focused on the most. And we've actually launched our 5-star app to be able to drive more reviews to all the review platforms, but specifically Google. Yelp would be one of those major review platforms. A lot of Apple and Siri's best of style searches are actually being fed off of Yelp data. TripAdvisor would be one of the other major review platforms, and then Facebook would be a major review platform as well. Now, based on your business, and what we're talking about here is reviews about your business. So you as a business, where do you need reviews, and what platform should you be driving reviews on? Different than if you're a vacation rental manager, you have the added challenge of also having to get reviews for your properties. So you need to do 2 things. You need to get reviews from your properties, which is its own, which is actually pretty organic. That happens pretty well. Most people don't struggle with that. But most vacation rental managers don't focus on getting reviews for their business. And that's what we're talking about here. You need to have reviews for your business, at least 50 on those major review platforms. And I would put them in that order that I weighted. So a little bit different way to think about it for the vacation rental managers on today's call. Hopefully that answers your question though. All right, so let's work together to build a plan to achieve your goals in 2019, right? I mean, that's what we want. You've got the one-page plan. You can download that. You can use that as a resource. But for the next few minutes, we're going to talk through each of those elements in that plan and talk through kind of some high-level how-tos of doing those things effectively. All right, so let's talk about your website. I was talking to somebody yesterday about this same topic, and I said, all this work we're going to do, all the marketing work you do is to drive traffic to your website. Drive traffic to your website. Drive traffic to your website. Assuming it's qualified traffic, your website then has to do the job of getting people excited about coming and taking the kind of experience you sell, taking the kind of trip that you sell, having the kind of accommodations that you sell. Your website has to get that person from, hey, I'm coming in, to I'm excited and I'm going to book. And it's such an important part of your overall process. And it's so critical that you have a great website. Yet it's unbelievable to me how many people's websites are still relatively terrible and extremely out of date. This is the most important marketing asset that you have. And it's absolutely critical that it's awesome. And something that you're really proud of and that you understand how it's doing. And when I'm saying all these things, I'm not just saying it needs to be pretty, right? Like, I didn't actually say that. It does. It needs to be physically attractive. But there's so much more to it. There's so much functionality. We're working on a project right now for somebody. They launched a website last March, and their revenue significantly decreased after they launched that website. But going into the website and doing our analysis for them, I mean, we can see all the changes that happened and all the shortcuts that were made and the disaster that launching their new website was. And now they've seen it impacting their revenue, which is kind of what led them to come to us. But there's so much wrong behind the scenes. It's visually attractive. And when we started talking to them about it, they were like, well, you know, I love my website. I don't think I need to change it. And I was like, yeah, but look at this and look at this and look at this. And before long, you realize that there's a lot wrong with it. And whoever was responsible for launching that really had no idea what they were doing. They made something physically attractive, but had no strength behind it. They stripped out a lot of the SEO content that should have been there. They changed and removed SEO throughout the site that should have been there. There's tons of broken links everywhere. The site's an absolute disaster. The fact that their revenue is only down what it was down is honestly surprising because their site's a disaster. It doesn't look like it at the surface, but when you start peeling back a couple layers and you actually use your site like a consumer would, you realize how bad the site really is. And it's your number one tool to compete with the OTAs. As you're thinking about how you're going to grow your revenue in 2019, and you're thinking about what you're going to do to compete, it's absolutely critical that you have a great website as a foundation to do all of your marketing from. And that's why 95% of our customers, when they start with us from a marketing perspective, also do their website with us, because we know it's so important. It's so important for us to be able to build a website that's going to take a consumer on the journey we want to take them on. And if we find a part of that journey that's broken and the Google Analytics tells us, hey, this isn't performing where we expect it to be, we can immediately go in and adjust and change it because you have control. And I tell you the story about how we work to think about how your own website's working for you and how your relationship with your web developer is working as well. If it's not fast and fluid and changing on a regular basis and centered around open, frequent communication, you probably are being underserved from a website perspective. And if that's the case, we'd love to talk to you about what that looks like in 2019. But this investment you make into your website doesn't have to be expensive. You can have a new website live in 30 to 45 days. Very quick, painless process, but it will drive a significant impact for you in 2019. And just a few questions there on the screen to encourage you to kind of ask yourself. If you don't know the answers to these questions, you really need to reach out for help. But I'd encourage you to get in touch with us at the end of today's webinar so we can help you think through these questions and look at the data to understand, do I need to make a change in this area in 2019? So I talked about the fact that your website is a hub of all of your marketing efforts, and you need to see it as that. It's not a brochure. It's not a just a static place that it's not, whatever. It's not the misconception you might have about it, but it is the hub of your marketing efforts. It's where everything is going, and it needs to be doing its job of taking those interested people and turning them into people who have a desire to book with you. That's what it's all about. And it needs to be future-proof. One of the big changes that we see in technology today is the pace of change. Technology is moving faster than it has ever moved before. And to accommodate for that, and because we had so many people moving over to us with highly outdated websites that they should have changed years ago, and for whatever reason they didn't, about a year to 18 months ago, we launched what we call our future-proof platform. And our commitment to our customers is that your website will never get out of date again. We're consistently publishing new updates, new features, new functionality to the back end. And as a result of that, your website will never get out of date again. On top of the new features and functionality that we're releasing to the back end all the time, we also give them our new every 3 guarantee, where we say every 3 years or so, your website will start to look a little bit dated. We will redesign your website every 3 years at no extra cost. We'll just take care of that. Part of our subscriptions, part of our platform, and it keeps you from looking out of date. And we have a lot of customers that have achieved their new every 3 with us, and it's a pretty exciting thing when you know you're going to get a new website, new look, new feel, updated with the latest and greatest kind of design styles, and it's not going to cost you anything, right? I mean, that's the kind of service that we work to provide to our customers, and that's what you need to be thinking about. Knowing that technology is going to continue to advance and continue to accelerate, how are you thinking about your website differently? In the days of building websites as static projects and not necessarily doing the ongoing reviews that need done to make those things get better, those days are behind us. And technology has advanced past that point. And you need to move with technology to be able to keep up and not get left behind. Email marketing, you guys know this is something that we're super excited about and super bullish on all the time when we're talking about things that need to be a big part of your priority. But this serves a couple purposes. One is to maintain our relationship with our past guests and to stay top of mind and turn past guests into repeat guests. I was actually talking to a customer or a prospective customer today. One of their executives is down at the office. I got a few of their people on the webinar with me today, so big shout out to you guys as well. But they're sitting on a gold mine. They have a database of a ton of people, and they're not emailing out to it on a regular basis. And I told them in our meeting, I was like, guys, you guys are literally sitting on a gold mine and you're not doing anything with it. This has to change in 2019. And there's so much opportunity. Yet when we survey vacation rental managers or hoteliers or innkeepers, and we ask, how many of you are sending email marketing on a regular basis? Only 5% of people tell us that they're actively sending email marketing campaigns out. And when I say actively, I mean at least monthly. Not you did it a couple months, which is what most people say. Yeah, I did it actively. I'm doing it monthly. And in reality, you look at their analytics, they did it 3 months last year. I'm talking at least on a monthly basis. It's such a great opportunity to get specials, packages, rooms, properties, position yourself as the destination expert. So overall, our recommendation is to send it 2 emails per month, but that varies, based on the size of your business, the size of your database. There's lots of things that go into kind of adjusting that recommendation. But at a baseline, and what you'll see in the one-page marketing plan is 2 checkboxes for email marketing. And I see a couple questions in the chat, Dale. Can I get that link to the one-page marketing plan? Again, that's Q4Launch.com/one-page. I'll put that in the chat panel real quick. Q4Launch.com/one-page. You can download, you can request that and download that right on that page on our website. So again, that's the one-page marketing plan for today's webinar, Q4Launch.com/one-page. So a few things to measure performance from an email marketing perspective. Traffic, obviously, is an important metric, and traffic directly correlates to revenue. Open rates. The travel industry should see 20.69% open rate or better. From a research study MailChimp did of their users, the average MailChimp user who identified themselves as being in the travel industry saw a 20.69% open rate, and a click-through rate of 2.17 or better. So just a few benchmarks to measure by. Of course, based on your list quality, list size, these things are going to be a little bit different for you, but just some benchmarks there to start you out with. And then if you think about those things, our customer sees about a 4% click-through rate on their average campaign. And if we send 2 campaigns per month, that's how we get the 8% traffic goal. So 2 campaigns a month times 4% click-through rate gets us 8% of your list size coming through our website every month. And then an open rate goal of 30 to 40%. You see the click-through rate there of 4% plus. So those are the goals we set for ourselves, basically to beat the industry average by about twice. We want to be about twice as good as the industry average. And that varies, of course, by list quality, list size, many other things. But generally speaking, those are the goals that we're working towards. I saw several people mention that they were going to start blogging regularly in 2019 as their goals for the year. And that's great. Excited for you. I think blogging is one of the things that has a lot of misconceptions around it. So we really want to understand what the goal is. Our goal with blogging is to establish our website and our brand as the destination authority in the eyes of Google and in the eyes of the traveler. We're working to intercept travelers when they're in the planning stage. So if you've been with us before, you've heard me talk a lot about the 5 stages of travel: dreaming, planning, booking, experiencing, remembering. If you wait until a consumer is in the booking stage, you may have missed the opportunity to really reach them and do a great job with them. So intercepting travelers in the planning stage before they reach the OTA, and then convert those website visitors into booking guests. Have a clear conversion journey. I think this is a big mistake a lot of people make with their blogs, is they have no clear path for a consumer to go. They give great information, but they don't know what to do next, and they don't have a clear conversion path or a clear conversion journey in mind. And their blog isn't set up well in the first place. A lot of people don't have their .com/blog on their own domain. So yourdomain.com/blog/blog title is really what you're after. Each post should contain the URL .com/blog. And that's for tracking purposes. So you can get in Google Analytics and track those things on a regular basis. It needs to be visually engaging, not a massive block of text. Most blog posts that we look at are just massive blocks of text, when in reality, you need to make both your blog index as well as each individual blog post visually engaging. And then, is it designed for conversion? Most web developers who are not content marketers don't understand the fact that your blog is where people should be entering your website. Most of our competitors, actually, I've never seen one of our competitors understand the fact that your blog is where people should be entering your website. Our customers, over a period of time with us, grow to a point where they see about 30% of their traffic enters their website via their blog. And knowing that, it becomes a lot of people entering the website via the blog, but it has to be designed differently. Most people just assume the blog is somewhere people navigate to once they get to my site. That's not true. Less people will navigate to your blog by coming to your homepage and going there than will organically find your blog and enter your website via your blog, assuming you have a great content marketing strategy. So think about that, and knowing that your design needs to be very different. And when you're talking to a web developer or interviewing them about their work, look at some of the blogs they've done, and it will indicate to you whether or not they understand this. If their blogs are designed for conversion specifically, you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to see that, and you'll know, okay, this person gets it. If they're not, you'll know this person doesn't really get it, and you should probably find somebody else to build you a new website. So as you're thinking about that, our recommendation would be to plan to blog weekly. Each blog post should be 500 to 700 words. Again, depending on how competitive it is, you may want to have a longer length of post. But this is another key mistake. Most people's blogs are too short. Each blog should be focused on a very specific keyword, something you know people are actually searching for. So in this example on the right side of the screen, Hocking Hills Hiking Trails is a blog post we wrote. Got that blog ranked in the #1 position for our customer. And last year, that blog brought 4,000 visits to their website. One blog post delivered 4,000 travelers who were planning a trip to the Hocking Hills area to our customer's website. 78% of those people had never even been to our customer's website before. So 78%, it was their first time discovering that brand. And as you're working through that, make sure that you're encouraging that person to book as well. Having engaging buttons that invite that person to book or provide their email address or do a property search. Have links in the body of your post that drive people to view rooms or property, view specials, browse things to do. Take those next steps to take your blog from somewhere someone enters your website and then get them to go deeper into the website. So as you think about that, a few ways to measure your performance. Is your blog driving traffic to your website, right? That's the goal that we talked about. We want to see by the end of our first year, our customers have about 1,000 people discovering them via their blog or entering their website via their blog. Is e-commerce for organic traffic increasing? Because your blog doesn't just serve to rank for whatever that keyword is. Your blog also improves your destination authority for your site as a whole, which helps your entire site perform better and rank better. So your overall organic traffic should be increasing, and then the results you should be seeing should be increasing as well. Watch for blogs that perform extremely well and optimize those first. So as you're looking at things and you're regularly monitoring your results, look for your top performers and then go back and look at that blog post and say, okay, what could I do to make this better? Now that I see this Hocking Hills Hiking Trails blog got 4,000 visits this year, what can I do to make that even better? Maybe I should develop a next step lead generation offer, or maybe I should develop a package specifically to those consumers. Take those next steps to make those things even better. Look for past blogs that were successful that might have lost traffic as well, because that's an indicator they need to be revitalized. Typically, over a period of time, your blog will start ranking, you'll start getting traffic for it, but then the content becomes outdated over a period, and Google will start to drop you in the rankings because it's just old content, and they're going to rank things that are fresh above them. And when you start seeing that happen, when you start seeing the traffic declining for those posts, that's an indicator that your ranking has probably dropped and that you need to revitalize that blog post. And again, our customers see 30% of their total monthly traffic enters the website via one of their blogs. So a good benchmark just to say, hey, is my blog performing as well as I think it could? So let's touch on social media. First, what's our goal? We want to drive traffic to our website from social media. We want to be seen as the destination expert. We want to provide custom content that makes a person want to visit your destination, encourage likes and share to broaden your exposure, and then fill last-minute cancellations. Lots of opportunities from a social media perspective. I think one of the areas people get hung up is they think social media is going to provide a trackable ROI. And in some cases it will. And there are campaigns you can run that might. And there are things you can do that will drive bookings in social media. Absolutely. But generally speaking, we don't see a trackable ROI from social media. More how we see social media be used is a traveler will find one of our sites via another medium, an organic search, an email campaign, something else. And as they're evaluating whether they want to do business with us, they will go to our social media and they'll check us out. And what they're looking for they're looking for social proof that they want to do business with your business. Do they like what they see? Do other people like the experience your business provides? And what you can't measure if you don't have a good social media presence is the business you lose because your social media presence is bad. So think about that with me. If somebody finds you via another medium, they go to your website, get excited, they go to your social media to check you out to look for social proof that you are who you say you are, right? I mean, that's a question we all ask when we're doing business with people. Are they who they say they are? Are they as good as they claim to be? Is their customer service? Is the level of luxury? Is the food as good as it claims to be? And we're looking for social proof. We're looking for validation from people that we don't necessarily know, but somehow miraculously trust because they're on social media. And if you don't have a good presence, that person will lose trust in your business, and it will decrease the likelihood they will make a book with you. If you make a booking with you, if you do have a good social media presence, it can increase that opportunity that they will book with you. There are very few, if any, neutral interactions in today's day and age from a marketing perspective. Every interaction is either positive or negative. Based on your attending this webinar, you're going to leave this webinar thinking either more highly of Q4 Launch if you liked today's content and it resonated with you, which will make you more likely to do business with us in the future, or you will hate our content and you will think poorly of us as a company. Those are the two options. You probably won't come off of today's webinar and feel neutral about your experience. It's just very, very rare in today's modern marketing world. So think about social media in that context. You cannot measure the business costs you or the business you lose because of a bad presence, even if you don't have a strong business gain directly correlated to your social media presence. So a few goals for social media: measure your performance. Is social media driving traffic to your website? Is it successfully securing bookings? It should be. You should be seeing some bookings coming from. Is your following growing? We set a goal for our customers to grow their following 5 to 10% per month. And when you do that, the line looks a little bit like it does in that screenshot on the right side of the screen there. Strong, steady, consistent growth. And this is important because if we do have a marketing message, if we have a new package that we're launching or a new property that just came on or a renovation to one of our rooms or whatever it is, those are the opportunities to get that message out and reach people that follow you already. But if your following is small, there's less people than you can reach, and it's more expensive to try to reach other people. It also costs you credibility. So if you have a really small following in social media, you're less credible than if you have a larger following in social media. And are you getting good engagement? Are you getting likes, comments, and shares? Things that we set our goal with our customers is to grow the fan base again by 5 to 10% per month and to see about 150 visits to their website per month from social media, specifically from Facebook. That's where we invest the majority of our social media efforts. So not super crazy aggressive goals, not nearly as aggressive as many of the other areas we set, But that's because we understand the medium and understand how it's different, how we need to set different goals based off of that. So let's turn our attention to search engine optimization for a minute. I mentioned at the top of the hour, near the top of the hour, that our customers see about 50% of their direct bookings coming from SEO, specifically coming from Google organic search. And if 50% of your revenue is coming from there, it absolutely needs to be a priority in your marketing strategy. And that example I gave earlier about the customer that we're redoing a website for that just launched one about 9 months ago, and it was a total disaster. Had they been monitoring their SEO regularly, they would have caught this almost immediately. Because if they had been monitoring their SEO regularly, they would have seen the writing on the wall. They would have seen the decline in traffic. They would have seen the decline in rankings, and they would have been able to fix it much faster. But instead, it's been going on for 9 months and has cost them over $100,000 in lost revenue to their business. A huge loss because they weren't doing this well. They didn't have their eye on the ball. And this is so important. So what's our goal? Our goal is to get found by people who are looking for accommodations in your destination. We're wanting to get found by travelers planning a trip to your destination and looking at our previous research and then setting a goal to increase our traffic 25%. We knew identify high value keywords and then optimize our website for them. We recommend hiring a professional for this because you can screw this up in a hurry and it changes all the time. So you've got to be careful, even if you're kind of trying to do some self-learning from an SEO perspective, because I will tell you stuff that I taught about SEO a year ago was right a year ago, and parts of it are wrong today. So you need to be thinking about that. It's changing so quickly. And if you're trying to self-teach through YouTube videos or whatever else, make sure you're paying attention to those published dates because things are changing so fast. And then measure your performance. Like anything else, you have to measure your performance. You can see a screenshot there of a customer that had a 67% increase in organic search traffic with us. I mean, when you really put a strategy together, you can see those things. You know, our goal is 25%, but in developing a plan to achieve 25%, sometimes you hit, singles, doubles, triples, home runs, and achieve huge success. But if you're not going after this well, you have a great opportunity to be. And it will absolutely make a huge impact in your revenue in 2019. If you do this well, positively. If you don't, negatively. So I wanted to touch on Google and Bing advertising a little bit as well. I did a whole webinar on this, a deep dive, but here's a few things that we love about pay-per-click and hate about pay-per-click. One thing we love, our customers see about a 10 to 20x return on ad spend with pay-per-click or Google ads. So that's great. We love that. We can fluctuate our budgets based on booking windows and available inventory. That's awesome as well. We can change budget. We can drive more demand in seasons we need more demand. It's a faucet we can turn on and off, which closely ties to that point before. And it has a predictable return on investment. Some of the things we hate about pay-per-click, people waste a ton of money on pay-per-click. There's a stat I've seen that says the average pay-per-click campaign, about 70% of the budget is wasted. And I would say of campaigns we take over, that's pretty true. About 70% of the budget is wasted. Yet people, I don't know if it's because it's Google or what, but people just throw money at it and turn a blind eye to performance. The other thing we don't like is it creates zero residual value. It's 100% a transactional play. I'm going to pay Google X to get this click, and if that click books, that's awesome. If they don't, they're moved on. It's 100% transactional. There's no residual value with it. And it's getting increasingly competitive and expensive. All of the OTAs are increasing their budgets for Google ads. At the same time, Google is decreasing the amount of traffic that they're sending through via Google ads because they're funneling it into other areas on their platform that are a better monetary deal for them. So it's getting increasingly competitive and expensive. And if you're going to use this in your strategy in 2019, or you've relied on it for a significant amount of bookings in 2018, you need to make sure it's performing well. And that's something we would be happy to talk to you about. We have had great success taking over people's email campaigns and getting them to a place that they're performing at a 10 to 20x return on ad spend. And if you don't know how to calculate that, just go into your Google Analytics, look at the amount of revenue you're generating from Google ads, divide that by the cost of what your Google ads are, and you'll get your return on ad spend. A couple other quick things we want to touch on. Reputation management is going to be absolutely critical in 2019. And we want you to have that goal to get 50 plus reviews on every platform. And don't forget Google Maps, which is controlled by Google My Business. So do not forget that. If you need help generating more 5-star reviews, there's a link on your screen there right now. Check out Q4Launch.com/5 stars. You can find that link and use that to be able to a tool to help you drive more reviews. And then develop partner packages. People are looking for vacation experiences, not just a place to stay. But people are also getting lazier and lazier. So partner with people in your area to create some great packages. Make it as easy as possible for them to have a great vacation experience, and they'll thank you in the form of bookings. So you'll see that. You'll see reputation management on your one-page plan as a box every single week, because you need to always be doing that. And then you'll also see packages. We recommend launching about 2 new packages per quarter, so you're getting fresh content out there and evaluating which ones are selling the best for you. And then I would say, to kind of not summarize, we're going to wrap up here in a few minutes, but something that's really important is to understand you've got to be in your Google Analytics. As we talk to people, I talk to marketers, I speak at conferences, most people are not in their analytics on a regular basis. You need to be in your analytics data at least monthly. We have dashboards in our office with our customers' analytics on them because we want that data in front of our team all the time. We want to be looking at data all the time because what we're trying to do is spot anomalies, either good anomalies and what we can learn from that, or bad anomalies that need to be corrected ASAP so we don't lose revenue from them. But if you're not in your analytics, you won't find either of those things. There are red flags that are hiding in your analytics that are not that complicated to find, but if you're not in there regularly, you've got to catch them before they cost you business. And you should be leaning on your marketing partner to lead this discussion for you. They should be helping you understand what your Google Analytics data tells you. They should be helping you understand how to unpack that and what action items to take as a result of that. They should be delivering reports with analysis and answering questions and leading you towards what do we need to be doing differently. And then return on investment and return on time. This is so critical as you're embarking on a new year and you're thinking about what investments am I going to make into growing my business in 2019. You have 2 options. You can invest your time or you can invest your money. Like, those are our 2 scarcest resources as humans, essentially, time and money. And everything is essentially a trade-off between those 2 resources. You can either take what you've learned today and invest your time into growing your business, which is an awesome place to be, or you can take what you've learned today and say, that's really exciting, but I need a partner who can do those things for me. And you can invest your money into a partnership that can grow your business. And do that with a company that you know and trust and you believe has a great strategy to get you where you are. They've been where you're trying to go and can help you get there as well. And we would love to be your partner for that. And would love to get in touch with you and talk about what that looks like for us to be your partner. So if you'd like help like that, please get in touch with us. My contact information will be on the screen in just a minute. We'd love to talk to you about how to start 2019 off with a bang and have the best year your business has ever had. And we can absolutely help you accomplish that. We've helped many, many people accomplish that over our years as a marketing services provider. So you have questions, we have answers. I've been trying to answer questions in the chat panel throughout our time together today, but happy to jump in there and answer a few more. Before we dive into that, if today's webinar has been helpful for you, we would love if you would leave us a 5-star review. So if today's webinar has been helpful, either it has sparked some creativity, it's sparked some new ideas, or you love something that we said, we would love if you'd go on Google and leave us a 5-star review. That would help us out a lot and give me some encouragement to know that today's webinar was great. You can also connect with us on Facebook at facebook.com/Q4Launch. And if you'd like to have a conversation about how we can help you grow your business in 2019 or help you build a new website and get that live in 30 to 45 days and make that a really great process and a beautiful website, you can reach out to me directly. My email address as well as my phone number are both there on the screen, and I'd love to talk to you about how we can partner together in 2019. So let's get to a few of these questions here in the chat panel. Can I get a copy of this to watch again later this afternoon? Absolutely, you can. I don't think we'll have it on our YouTube channel by later this afternoon, but we will put this up on our YouTube channel. It will only be live for probably about 5 days, and then we're going to pull it down off of our YouTube channel. So that will be up on our YouTube channel for about 5 days. You'll be able to watch that, and then we'll be pulling that back down again. So take advantage of that. Which social network is hot right now? Question from Mika. Great question, Mika. It depends on how you want to define hot. I mean, Instagram is kind of what everybody's talking about. But if I was going to tell you where to invest your marketing dollars or your marketing time, I don't know that I would lead on Instagram. It depends on everything else you have going, but we typically see a higher return on investment or return on time from other marketing mediums, even though Instagram is definitely hot right now. So if you want to invest more time in social media, Instagram is a great place to do it. If you're not doing Facebook well, I would do that well first. And if you're not doing all the other things we talked about today well, I would do those things well before you invest in Instagram. So just some feedback for you there. In your previous marketing package or marketing page, you used ADR. Your most recent one is using average booking. Why the change? Yeah, great question. We changed that to just make it more indicative to the various people that might be using that. So looking at the average booking that you take, knowing that the bookings are changing, like as far as average number of nights and various things. So tried to switch from a true ADR model to an average booking, but we did leave all of those formulas unlocked in our spreadsheet, which is a risk because it means you could break it, but you can always go download another copy if you need to. But we left it unlocked so that you could customize it for yourself. We have a lot of different people and a lot of different aspects of the industry, and we wanted to make a spreadsheet that would work for everybody. So whether you're a hotelier, an innkeeper, a vacation rental manager, maybe you're a tour operator, you can customize that to make it for you. So it would require some, slightly advanced, not super advanced, but slightly advanced Excel knowledge, but you can customize that to make it work however it's most effective for you. So, well, that looks like that is all the questions in our chat panel for right now. So really enjoyed our time connecting with everybody today. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Again, we would appreciate your 5-star review on Google, and you could always follow us at facebook.com/Q4Launch. If there's anything we can do to help you in your business in 2019, please do reach out to me via my contact information directly on the screen there. If you haven't, please go register for our SEO in 2019 webinar that will be in 2 weeks. And if you know anybody else who's in the marketplace, I encourage you to share that with them. It's going to be a message that everybody needs to hear, as so much of your revenue comes from Google organic search. So you really need to be focused on that and understanding what's going on in 2019 and your strategy to address those things. So help a friend out and share that webinar with them, as it will be very beneficial for them as they're planning their 2019 marketing plans. Thanks everybody for your time today. We will look forward to catching you at the conference here soon or in a couple weeks at our next webinar.